Hola.
Hola.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien.
¿Qué?
¿Está?
¿Cómo? ¿Qué tal?
Muy bien.
¿Has de venir del cole?
Sí.
¿Y hablas en español en el cole?
No, en inglés.
¿Solo inglés?
Sí. Bueno, cuando tengo las clases de árabe, hablo en árabe.
Muy bien, muy bien.
So do you like this painting?
Well,
Yo
I
veo
see like a
como
wing
una ala
here.
aquí.
And
Ala.
over here, there's a kind of cut snake. Here,
What part of the painting do you like most?
this part.
Why?
Because it looks like a doorway, like when they found King Tut's tomb.
La tumba de Tutankamón.
¿Sí?
Sí.
¿Dónde estabas tú cuando encontraron la tumba? Y pinto cuando me sale una idea o tengo ganas de pintar. O sea,
I paint when I have an idea or I feel like painting, because the colors don't reveal their secrets so easily. One has to be mentally prepared to receive information from the colors, because I often sit before the painting and don't see anything.
No veo nada, no me sale nada.
The way of painting a picture, the picture itself, the canvas on an easel, is a Western invention.
¿De acuerdo?
Color comes from Earth. I am part of the Earth, and all this is something that I really do not understand completely. I don't know why the colors come, nor why I use these colors. I know that I have a general idea, a way of seeing, a way of harmonizing things, but I don't know why I've placed these colors here. Maybe because it plays with this and it picks up the entire image with the animal. I'm just playing. I don't have anything concrete in mind. I know perfectly well that when I finish this painting, it is going to be something I like. But the content depends on each culture. I like Western painting, European and American painting, but I can't copy it.
Es el hermano que me suele traer aquí al río para dibujar cuando tenía 7 o 8 años. Sí, sentamos aquí justamente. Realmente a él le gustaba muchísimo lo que hacía, como decía ayer. Y él te puede, si quiere preguntarle en inglés algo. What do you think about?
Rashid Diab was born and raised in Medani, a small city located south of Khartoum. His family is very large, just like most Sudanese families, and most of his relatives still live in Medani. When he was a child, they brought his older brothers to this corner of the banks of the Nile to paint.
The view of the Nile River. I would draw the people bathing here. This has changed a lot. The island in the Nile, you see it? Every year people come to this island.
El Nilo en este momento tiene el color de la plata. ¿Viste cómo cambia el color ahora? Y se ve más plata ahí al lado.
He was a really delightful child. He was different from the rest of us. He played in the sand and with mud. He painted landscapes on small pieces of marble and on ceramic tiles, and he would sell them door to door. With the money, he bought his paints and his things.
This is my school, my primary school. This is where I took my first painting classes. In this classroom over here, there was a professor who was so nice. I even remember his name. His name was Sir. He was a painter and a person who liked art very much. He also gave drawing classes.
Rashid studied in this school, which is still standing, until he was an adolescent.
السلام والرحمة فرحان الحمد لله الله كويس الحمد لله دكتور الله كويس الله يبارك فيك الحمد لله السلام والرحمة الله يبارك فيك الله يبارك فيك الحمد لله شرفتوا الحمد لله الدكتور راشد دياب وهو فنان عالمي تشكيلي ومعه فنان عالمي برضه من اللي هو من اسبانيا.
المصطفى العربي علم النحو والإعراب
Aquí donde está el salón antiguo, aquí está la situación de mujeres, todos mis hermanos hemos vivido aquí hasta los 11, 12 años. Zahra es artista, arte pobre.
Rashid left Medani at a young age to study in Khartoum. He was granted scholarships which allowed him to travel the world.
I was very bored when I was about 18 years old. Everything seemed to be the same in my town. The same things, the same people, and the same conversations. I knew what everything was about, and for me, it was time to change. So that's when I began to travel. I went to Egypt. I went to many countries. I went to Europe, traveled around, and then I realized that there were other cultures, and that there were other people, and the world didn't end here. It didn't stop where I was born. Not in Khartoum, not in Sudan. There's another world to be seen, because this is what fills an artist. This is what fills a person. Because often, you don't even need to paint, but to see things from the inside, and to make paintings from the inside, in a person's subconscious.
Bastawi Baghdadi was the first Sudanese artist to lean towards contemporary art. Until he arrived on the scene, art in Sudan was what the artists and artisans of the different tribes spread throughout the country had always done. But Bastawi incorporated a new dimension based on Western structures. He was also the first director of the Sudanese Fine Arts School and the country's first fine arts professor.
For the Sudanese art, everybody is an artist. They are artists by nature. They're actually folk artists, artisans, craftsmen, because it's in the tradition of the old Sudan. And they don't think they need to go to study that because it's a question of family, environment, education. All these countries had their historical, cultural background behind them. That's why when a school was started, a great deal is behind every national citizen, every national artist has a great culture behind him. It's not out of nothing. They have hundreds and thousands of years of culture, art, visual and literary, behind them. Well, it was very exciting. It was a great pleasure for me as a dean of a college to have a Queen of England, to visit the one educational institute in the Sudan. She was very happy. She was very pleased to see, and she was very generous with us. And I think her ambassador who came with her at that time was also happy because he himself did not expect to see such things by young artists. And she realized and she saw the history of the Sudan. Well, Sawakin is an old port of Sudan, the first port on the Red Sea. And I love those buildings, the buildings of Sawakin, which are built from the coral stones and the coral plants of the Red Sea. It's a beautiful white thing in the middle of blue viridian and blue ultramarine and blue, all sorts of greens. The smell of the old buildings still gives me the feeling that people are moving with their beautiful costumes, beautiful architectural buildings, beautiful mansions, 2- and 3-story buildings which were not built inside Sudan, in Omdurman and so on.